Good evening to everybody. We will start our session. Today we have Mrs. Usha Gaukar with us. She's a consulting
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, तुमचा का?
Sorry, Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining us on this for this workshop on coping with stress during the COVID period. I welcome all of you, and I'm grateful to all of you for being a part of this program.
अरे बोल
So I'll just
अतुल अतुल
move on to the
मुझे को सुनाई
presentation
नहीं दे रहा
because
स्पीकर
we
पे
don't have too much of
मुझे
time.
ऐकायला येत नाही काहीच सुप्रीम कोर्ट बोला त्याला एक हेडफोन दे नाही तर स्पीकर दे दे तो आवाज येतच नाही म्हणते ते हे काही हेडफोन घेऊन जा आणि बघ ना येत नाही
नाही चालू होत, प्रभूजी.
हा चालू आहे
It's not playing.
प्ले वरती क्लिक करा
क्लिक केलंय प्रभूजी, चालत नाही. एडिटिंग मध्ये जातो तो. Okay, we will start with the seminar on coping with stress during COVID-19. The first pointer is don't panic because it's very easy to panic during stress. In fact, it is almost automatic for people to start panicking during the period of stress. And COVID has been with us now almost for, I guess, since March, so March, April, May, June, July, almost 4 months now. Okay, this is the fifth month that we are on. And it's natural for us to panic and wonder what is going to happen in the future. So I'll just take you I'm just going to share a few tips with you all on how to deal with stress. More than that, also building your resilience. More than dealing with stress, it is about building your resilience during this period, which helps to cross or probably get across this particular um, 4 or 5 months or 1 year of time off, which will help us to cross over this COVID period. So some facts I'll start with. It's accepted that it's a frightening time. All of us are frightened. We are scared. We are scared to talk to each other. We are scared to be with each other. We are scared to go out of the house. We are scared to touch things. So the fear is there. So there is no denying that aspect. It's a worldwide pandemic, so we have to understand that we are not alone in this. Everyone in the world is facing this particular crisis at this point in time. All of us are scared and all of us are in this together, so we are not alone. That is what we need to understand. Then many places have partially shut down. It's economic status that I'm sharing with you all right now. So many organizations, institutes, malls, shopping complexes, small time entrepreneurs, everybody, many of them have either partially shut down or they are struggling to get out of this particular period safely. Some areas, the corona infection rates are getting worse. In some places, it is improving. In some places, it is just stagnant, So we keep watching the headlines every day, get up, watch the news, wonder when is this going to end. There's also another aspect which I have noticed personally whenever, I have gone to buy some things in the market. Most of the things, essential commodities seem to be out of stock because people have just hoarded it during the period, and now some of it important things are not really available. So that's another thing which has developed the hoarding mentality during this period. Some more facts: uncertainty is definitely there, and it is the hardest to handle because we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow, day after, 2 months down the line, 1 year down the line. People have no clue what's going to happen. So that is the most difficult aspect of this, COVID. Okay. So the uncertainty is definitely there, as I told you, and it's a very difficult aspect to handle of COVID. With other things, at least you're sure, okay, suppose you get a typhoid or a malaria, okay, after 10 days, 15 days, I'm going to be fine. But in case of COVID, you don't know, you can get a relapse, it can be worse, it can get, 100 degrees worse than the last time. So it's very difficult to handle this particular crisis right now. Another aspect is that we don't know how we are going to be impacted, how long this is going to last, or how bad it might get. So that's another uncertainty all of us are facing right at this point in time. So it's very, very natural and easy for us to, go out of, you know, um, basically catastrophize and, oh, this is only happening next, next year down the line. I'm going to be without any money, without any financial, help, and my health is going to deteriorate. So it is very, very, natural to catastrophize and go spiraling down into overwhelming panic and dread. Even in the face of this unique crisis, we can manage our anxiety and fears and build our resilience. So first, I shall be sharing both together, how to manage the anxiety and fears and also build up our resilience during this period. So some tips I'll share. These are the things that we are going to be further discussing on in this particular session. The first one is we practice acceptance. Second is we learn to manage change. Third is you accept unpleasant feelings. Most of us, I'll go to that later. Fourth is reaching out to others. Fifth is investing in self care. Sixth is defining our meaning and purpose in life. Seventh is how do we stay motivated. Eighth is to be hopeful. And ninth is to be kind to ourselves. So, how do you practice acceptance? What does this mean? Can you see this picture of this ostrich here? What is this ostrich doing? This ostrich is actually looking at a man who has his head inside the ground, and the ostrich is approving. He's saying that he's good. What does that mean? Like most of the ostriches who are, whenever there is some difficulty, what do? They put their head into the ground and just remain there. So it's a wonderful way of denial. So just deny that nothing around is happening, no, nothing bad around me is happening. And that is exactly what this man is doing. So if we as human beings also try to, do this, then we look at the consequences later. So all of us react to stressful events in different ways. An ostrich reacts in this manner. Human beings react in different manner. We look at it, most of us, but actually go into denial. How can this happen to me? I'm such a healthy person, How can my immunity level be so low? And all these are all the questions, how can I get COVID? Or it's like I will not get this. I'm so healthy, I work out every day, I eat very healthy food. No, it's not healthy. COVID is not going to identify you according to your height, weight, number of hours of exercise. It's just going to attack whenever it has the opportunity. It just needs one small excuse to enter your body. So most of us are in denial, whether we get it or even after we get it, so it's there in both the phases. Next is we refuse to accept the truth. So first truth is that it is there. Okay, I mean, we are not, there's no denying this aspect that it is there and it is going to be there for some time. We don't know how long. So it is better that we accept the truth, accept this change and move on, learn to move on with the, new change. So it's like a normal new that we're talking about. Next is we feel once you're in denial, what happens is that you feel that, okay, now since this is, I've denied it, things are perfectly okay and they are under my control. Whatever events, whatever situation is there is today, it is under my control. So you feel powerful, okay, this event is also now under my control, this situation is also under my control, if you are in denial. Next is there is also a positive impact, of denial. What can that be? The positive impact of denial is that it gives you time to come to terms with the trauma. Once initially, and normally what happens is that, see, whenever you have a loss in the family, suppose a very close person in your family leaves the body, what happens? The first reaction is denial. So when you're in the period of denial, it helps you to come to terms with the fact that, okay, this person is not there in my life. I have to learn to live without this person. So in any aspect or in any situation, including the COVID period, initial this of denial, just few, moments or few days of denial is fine. But what happens if this denial moves on into a long-term basis? So we look at the effects now. What happens is if it prolongs and it blocks our pain. Okay, we are not able to feel pain if you keep being in denial for a long period of time. Like suppose you haven't cried after a dear one has left the body. It could be a parent, spouse, anybody, grandparents, brother, sister, anyone. Suppose you have not cried or you have not expressed your pain, you're blocking that pain in your body, and it can come up in some other, it can come up in some other manner in the future. It can metamorphose into a physical manifestation later on in your life. Prevents you from adjusting to new circumstances. So since you are still in that denial, it is very difficult for you to adapt to new changes, adapt to new circumstances, because you're still there. You're still 2 days ago or 20 years ago, you're still stuck there.
अभी भागते आए मैडम, अभी को रुक जा, देख 5-10 मिनट रुक, कोई आता है तो भिजवा। हाँ
Okay, it prevents you from adjusting to new, and it stops you from seeking solutions or taking action. So once you are in denial, what happens for a long period of time? It stops you from seeking solutions and also taking any further action, stop you from moving on, basically. Okay. Okay. And it stifles the healing process. What does this mean? You need, the process of healing actually starts with accepting that you have a problem or accepting that you have had a traumatic experience. So the process of healing begins with that. So if the first step itself has not been taken, suppose you have not even accepted, that yes, this has happened in my life, then the healing process does not even begin. So we need to at least start with the healing process and then move on in life. Okay, there is another thing known as change management. Now, change is an inevitable part of our life. It is there irrespective of whether we want it or we don't want it. Everything changes day in and day out. you know Today the weather is gloomy, tomorrow the weather may be sunny, day after tomorrow again it may start raining heavily, fourth day there might be cyclonic storm. So weather changes, people around you in the house change. There are so many things. Even your food, one day it may taste nice, the second day it may not taste the same. One day the dal tastes something, the next day the dal tastes something else. So change is definitely an inevitable part of our life, and many aspects of the changing world are outside our you know it is outside our individual control. So we don't have control over many aspects of the world outside. Forget outside, even inside our house. Even amongst our family members, we cannot have much control over them. So what we need to do then? We need to focus on things within our control. Okay, we will just look at that later, and accept changes by looking to our past. What has happened in the past, what is going to what is happening in the present, and how these two things can impact my future. So then once we accept these two things, it is easier for you to change the process, the change, and move on in your life. So what are the factors that we can control? Okay, the first one is being physical well-being. We can definitely exercise and take care of our health. What are the habits that we form during this period, COVID period, and even otherwise, whether these habits are good or they are bad? What time do we wake up in the morning? What are the good things that we're doing for us and for others? What is the kind of food that we're eating? What is the kind of nutritive value the food has? So all these things is habits. Are we drinking? Are we using drugs? Are we smoking? So there are many things that people turn to in times of stress. So during this period, we can definitely control the habits that we form, choices and decisions that we make. Now this is again within our control, right? Nobody else can decide for you, or no one else can choose on your behalf. You have to learn to do these two things on your own. Eating and nutrition, I shared this earlier with you. Mental ability to cope, to be relaxed, be energetic, and be confident. Now, all these four things are within our control. We may feel that no, I cannot cope with this. I'm feeling so tense. I'm feeling so, so demotivated, and I have no left, not much confidence left in me. But no, these are things which you can definitely work on. There are ways, there are techniques, there are skills to be used to work on and achieve this. Okay. Now, social responsibility is to help society and give of ourselves. So this is something which will come only if you are mentally stable. If you are stable, you are able to cope with your stress, you are able to relax, you are able to be energetic, you are confident. Then the next step is to move on and fulfill your social responsibilities. Reach out to people, volunteer, do some charity work. There are so many people who are doing this. I can read about these RSS Sevaks. Even so many missionary institutes are reaching out to a lot of people. Celebrities are reaching out to a lot of people, because people are finding happiness in this. So once we do this, definitely it will be a very satisfying experience. So okay, another thing which is very important is our behavior and our response to events. Now this is something which we can definitely control. Can you control how the other person talks? No. Can you control what happens around you? No. But we can definitely control how we respond to certain situations and how we behave in certain situations. So these are the two things which we can definitely control. Okay. Now let's move on to things we cannot control, which are not in our, uh, locus of control, basically. First is genetics. Genetics is something which you get from your genes, hereditary factors. Some of the lifestyle diseases are there, some behavioral traits that you acquire from your parents. So these are the things which we have no control over. Okay. Another thing is the environment, which is the family. It consists of our family, our neighbors, economy, society. All these things, factors are factors which are beyond our control. We cannot control them. Can we choose our family? No. Can you choose your parents? No. Can you choose who your brother or sister should be? No. So we don't have a choice, neither do we have control over these situations. Again, neighbor, हमारे पास में कौन रहने आता है, we have no control over that. So we just have to learn to tolerate whoever is there next to us, correct? And economy, again, the inflation, the rise in the Sensex, the dip in the Sensex, the market, what's happening, commodities are available, some commodities are now not available. So these are things which are not under our control. They don't come under our purview, okay? And third is others' response to events and to us. Now, can you be, can you control or can you be responsible to how other person is responding to you, number one, and also another person responds to certain events around him or her, So there is somebody who's driving on the road, okay, you're in the traffic, midst of traffic. He suddenly comes next to you and starts screaming and shouting at you, okay, honking, why are you not moving, this, that. Do you have any control over this person's behavior? You don't, right? But in this situation, you can definitely control your behavior and your response. You can either keep quiet or express yourself in a polite manner. So these are some of the things which are within and which are without our control. Now, as first we said that we have to practice acceptance. Then we spoke about change management. And third is now accepting unpleasant feelings. Now, I know not many of us are ready for this, but it is a fact of our life and we need to accept unpleasant feelings also. Everything cannot be hunky-dory all the time, right? So most of the times, what do? We try to suppress them because they are unpleasant, because they are negative. We want to just, brush them under the carpet. We just want to suppress them. Okay. But what does that do? It only fuels our stress. The more you keep suppressing in your body, the more stressful the situation will become. The more unhealthy you will become. The more physically unfit you will become. Okay. And it delays our acceptance of the situation. So if whatever situation is there, you have to accept it, whether you like it or you don't like it. This is the fact of life. You have to accept it. Okay. Next is this also prevents us from moving on. So there are two aspects. First is that if we try to suppress them, we fuel our stress, we delay our acceptance of the situation, and it prevents us from moving on. But on the other hand, if we allow to feel our emotions, if you allow ourselves to feel the emotions, most intense feelings will pass. It just comes and it goes. You have to let it pass, but it is up to you to let it pass. You can't hang on to these emotions. There are some of my patients who come to me and say that, Madam, मेरे को भूल नहीं पाती हूँ मैं और भूल नहीं पाता हूँ. I can't forget this. I'm not able to let go. So they just hang on to it. So once you hang on to it, what happens? You're stuck there again. The process of healing stops there. You can't move on in life ahead. So you have to allow the feelings to pass. Okay. Then trauma of tough times will start to fade. It is mentioned that time heals everything. So you have to give time to everything, and the trauma of these times will also start to fade. Moving on will become easier. Okay, now reaching out to others. How do we reach out to others? See, most of us are feeling very, very isolated, lonely, because this lockdown and quarantine has hit us very hard. So we're feeling isolated from our friends. People who are going to office are feeling isolated from their colleagues, from their, bosses also, some of them. So it's a fact of life. Okay. Connecting with these people, basically connecting with any human can reduce stress, boost our level of confidence, level our mood, boost our mood, make sense of all the change and disruption around us. We can also draw strength and build resilience from having others to lean on. Okay, when you have someone, when you know that you have somebody to lean on to, you can draw strength from that person, and you can build your strength, you can build your resilience through with the help of that other person. And please remember, talk to people who will listen to you. Okay, do not talk to people who are already having some negative emotions, or who are normally in the mode of giving advice or suggestions or asking questions. Try and choose people whom you can talk to and who will listen to you. That is important. Okay. Okay, reaching out to others is human connection makes the difference to how we feel. Now, in this situation, obviously, we cannot go and hug our friends, thump them on their backs or shake their hands, but definitely eye contact, a smile, exchange of greetings. So, all these things definitely make a difference. See, it's very easy to retreat, it's very easy to say that I don't want to talk to anybody, I will just stay at home and do nothing. Okay, fine. But what is the other option? You cannot feel that you're a burden, you can't fear. There are people who feel that if I go and talk to my friends, they will feel that I'm a big burden, they will reject me. It's not like that. If they are there, if they are your true friends, they will definitely, accept your feelings and help you sort them out. So we need to try and avoid negative people, because when you interact with negative people, you're already in a stressed out situation and the situation worsens. Okay. Again, try and avoid anybody who magnifies your problem, our problem, criticizes, judges us. It could be even a family member, because nowadays, since so many people are staying together, even if it's a nuclear family, father, mother, and two children, even there is a lot of issue even in those families. We are dealing with so many cases now. People come, okay, I don't want to live with my wife anymore. The child comes and says that we don't want to live with our parents anymore. So the situation is that bad today. So living together, anyone who tries, who's magnifying our problem, try and avoid that person. It's difficult when you're living in the same family and you are, interacting with the person. In that case, what you could do is you can have an open and transparent discussion with that person. Try and tell what your feelings are. Try and express yourself. And then we can see how things go from there. Okay, we can expand our social network. Nowadays I'm seeing heavy duty activity happening on social media. Almost every second person is putting up a cooking recipe on YouTube channel. So many people are giving motivational talks on YouTube. So many people are coming and expressing their gratitude. Many of them are coming and expressing their sorrows also. So many things are happening on social media. And also I have observed that many of my friends are trying to reach me now during this period, that okay, let's all meet on social media. All the people whom we had forget at school, schoolmates, college batchmates. So we are trying to have a reunion. So all these things are happening nowadays on social network. So there are plenty of ways to build new relationships and improve our support system. It's not that एक friend आपके जिंदगी से निकल गया तो there are there are no more friends, or there can't be any more friends. There can be. It is up to you what you want to do about socializing and expanding your social network. If you see another thing, important thing is that if you see somebody is lonely, or if you feel that this specific person is lonely, please reach out, try and reach out to that person. He or she may not respond to you immediately, but definitely over a period of time, when that person feels that you're genuinely and sincerely concerned, he or she will definitely open up. Yes, self-care is very important in these times, because they are tough times and they take mental and physical toll on us. So a constant state of heightened stress can lead to four things. One of the four things are serious health problems. It impacts our immune and digestive systems, increases our risk of heart attack and stroke, and leads to a burnout, a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion. Now, recently, I think a couple of days ago, I just came across, my daughter came and told me, shared with me news of, a very young, um, uh, you know, uh, I think acquaintance of her who had left her body. It was very sad and very, unexpected actually. So when at young age, people are living their lives, people are getting heart attacks, cardiac arrests, they are succumbing to this illness very quickly, because the resilience is not strong. They have not built a strong resilience. They don't have a strong support system. I'm not saying that all of them have gone because of that. Many of them I also know panic and get into deeper trouble. So we have to understand what is normal and what is overwhelming emotions. We need to be able to identify the difference. Okay, this is normal and I can get out of this. But if at any point in time you feel that you are not able to get out of that particular situation, and things are, getting worse. Things are seeming to get more negative. You are becoming more panicky. You are getting more anxious. Please reach out to professionals. It is very important. At this point, please don't hesitate. Don't feel ashamed. There are many people who are doing this today, because it has become the need of the hour. A psychiatrist and a psychologist can help you overcome a lot of your overwhelming emotions. So please don't fear reaching out. Since mind and body are so closely linked, investing in self-care is an important part of building our resilience. A strong mind, definitely, a strong body definitely leads to a strong mind, and vice versa. See, we have limitations to our usually healthy habits, but still there are plenty of ways to take care of ourselves. You may not get, at this during this period, we may not get all that we used to, all the healthy things that we used to get before. But whatever is there, whatever is available, within that we should try and keep our habits as healthy as possible. So this is a small slide on self-care during a crisis that I'm sharing. Some of the tips that you can do is meditation. I'm sure all of you can watch Ramdev Baba's YouTube, how he shares how you can do meditation. Stay active, exercise, go for a walk if it is possible, okay? And avoid any kind of news, because this is something which I hear from a lot of my patients कि मैम हम लोग सवेरे न्यूज़ देखते हैं तो upset हो जाते हैं. So the first thing I've told them to do is please don't read any news. Rely on a very, very trusted person to share information regarding COVID to you. Please don't go on news, because many times these news channels do not show you or portray you the correct statistics or data. Then avoid people pleasing. There is no need for you to keep everybody around you happy. It is time to become a little selfish and start taking care of yourself, because in the process of keeping everyone around you happy, you land up displeasing yourself. You get stressed out, your immunity level reduces, and then you fall sick. So this is something which we want to avoid. And talk to loved ones. We can always get in touch with our parents. We can get in touch with our brothers, sisters, relatives, friends, college, school. Jahan, today media, social media has become such an important aspect of our life, with in terms of connecting with people. And think realistically, don't start panicking. These are the things that I would like to share with you regarding self care during crisis. Another aspect is meaning and purpose. We need to find a meaning and purpose in our life. The reason why we get stressed out is because we are doing the same thing again and again, or we are doing things which we don't like or which we don't want to do. So we are not our crisis. So, and it is very easy to get overwhelmed. Our crisis does not define us, and it is okay to feel powerless and helpless. We need to start nourishing our spirit. What will nourish my spirit? What is it that I will, if I do, I will feel not only enthusiastic but motivated to help myself and help people outside also. So that is called nourishing our spirit. So we need to rise for and above the occasion, and which will give a lot of meaning to our lives and define our purpose ahead. What we are going to do after this, will be defined now during this period. How you want to be a part of, a better India is what will be decided right now. You can always continue to draw pleasure from our regular activities, some musical endeavors, home improvement projects, and anything that you want to do. Basically, gardening is there, singing is there, playing an instrument. So you have to define your purpose, and you have to find your meaning in life. See, when we define a purpose and meaning, now it gives a better perspective to our problems. We are better able to understand our problems and deal with it. It also prevents them from overwhelming us. Our problems don't seem big then. There is a saying, do not tell God about, or I don't remember, do not tell God about your how big the problem is. Tell the problem how big God is. That is how it should be. We cannot allow our problems to overwhelm us. We need to maintain our identity, in this entire process, of trying to please others, it's like a chakki pura pisra hamara abhi. So during this process, if we are able to find that meaning and purpose in our life, it will help us in maintaining our identity. So we need to do, how do we define, how do we define our meaning and purpose? Do meaningful activities, do activities which satisfy you, which make you happy. So I know what makes me happy, so I'm doing that. So similarly, you need to identify those things that make you happy, and those, and try out those things and focus on those things. And do not limit, we should not limit ourselves by others expectations. Others may tell you, "Arey, you can't do this, you can't do that." No, you know what your capabilities, you know what your limitations are, right? You know your limitations and your strengths. So work on those, and definitely you will be able to achieve your dreams. Try volunteering, this gives a lot of meaning, believe me, it really helps. Do a lot of charity, give blood, donate to charity, stand up for a cause, help others. There was this very nice ad which had come, I think just before Eid, on of Surf Excel or something, where this small boy goes and asks his mother, ke, uh, "Mommy, what should I do for Eid?" So she says, you should go and reach out to people. So what this boy does is, slowly, in the society there are these people who are, who are the security people, housekeeping staff. So then, he gives food to one person, then he goes and cleans the room of the other person. So these are the small small things that, that small child learns to do for the society and the people living in society. So we as adults, I'm sure we can do much more than what the child has done. Staying motivated through tough times, it is tough time and it is difficult to stay motivated, but in spite of that, we have to learn how to stay motivated. See, we have to understand that this is not going to last forever, but at the same time we also need to um, accept that this will not get over quickly. Okay, it is going to take some time. The after effects are going to be far worse. So we need to foster qualities of persistence and endurance. We have to learn to tolerate, and we have to persistently, say, "No, I am going to get through this, I am going to get through this, I am going to get through this." So we have to keep affirming ourselves positively, that I'm strong enough and I can get through this. Okay, find ways to motivate ourselves, whatever keeps us up and going, whatever it may be, anything. It may be getting a puppy home, it may be getting cats home, serving the dogs on the street, it could be anything. Just keep, search one thing that motivates you, as long as it's not a bad habit. It is something which reaches out, helps you, satisfies you, and keeps you up and going. We have to take baby steps, one problem at a time. When you feel, there are times when you feel you're so overwhelmed, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this. No, break it up. Even when we're doing sessions in counseling, now the patient comes with, or the client comes with so many issues. So we break it up. We say, okay, what is the priority? Which problem is first that we do address? Which is the second? So we try and prioritize that, and then accordingly, in each sessions we handle one problem at a time. And the problems will keep changing. One problem, in first session the person may have 10 problems. In the second session he may have 15 problems. So they will add, or all the problems or it may become 7 also. So it depends. So we have to keep changing and addressing one problem at a time. See, it is always easier to break it into parts. When you have a big thing, like even if you have a big huge those paper dosas, you get in the restaurant to eat, paper dosas that we used to get, ghee dosa or something. It is so easy to, I mean, you can't eat the whole thing, right? You have to break it into small pieces and then eat it. So similarly, it is easier to deal if it is broken into small parts. Okay. And never blow a problem out of proportion. Okay, don't blow it out of proportion. I mean, everybody has problems, everybody faces problems. So we should not make it seem as if it is more negative than others. We should look at others who have worse problems and feel, okay, great, yaar, I mean, itna to bura nahi hai mera haal. That's it. Another important aspect is that take a step back, observe it as an outsider. When we are able to detach yourself from the problem and look at it in a different perspective. It's like how you would advise your friend. Some friend comes and tells you the same problem. What would you tell your friend? Arey yaar, aisa kar de yaar. It will be, I mean, why are you taking so much of tension? Why do you want to, think so much? The same thing is applicable to you. Remember that. Or remember that it is applicable to us, not to you, sorry. It is applicable to you and me as well. So focus on the small rays of hope. There is always a silver lining, from a dark cloud always has a silver lining. So we need to celebrate these small wins. And when we celebrate small wins, we feel happy, we feel satisfied, our confidence level increases. You feel, okay, I've done this. Now what next? What should I do? And we should visualize what we would like to happen. 1 year down the line, this is what I'm visualizing will happen. And wait and watch, you will see that it will happen. That is called law of expectation. When you expect that something positive is going to happen, something positive will happen. And when you expect something negative, definitely it will happen. So we should be able to visualize positivity in our life. It cannot be, अरे यार कुछ नहीं होने वाला है, मेरा तो अभी बैंक में कुछ बचा पैसा बचा नहीं है, जॉब भी जाने वाला है. There are many things that can happen, but how do you get out of it? What is the positive that you see out of all that? That is what we need to understand. Even if we feel that there is no solution, suppose we come across a solution, a dead end है यार, इसका तो कुछ problem, इस solution ही नहीं है problem का. Draw up alternatives, evaluate the options, and start taking action. Something will happen. It is not that all doors, God never closes all the doors. There is always one window which is open. So that we have to remember. And last but not the least, be hopeful. Set very, very reachable goals, because what happens is if the goal is easy to reach, it quickly it happens, and then you feel, you feel motivated. It gives a good break from stress. When something, something you want to achieve, you achieve that quickly, and then you feel nice. It's like a rush of reward, of feeling appreciated feeling. It gives a good break from stress. Try to maintain a very hopeful outlook. Don't give up easily. As I said, persistence and endurance. Try to find one thing to be grateful for. It is very, very difficult in these tough times, that we have only complaints. अरे आज मुझे आज ये नहीं मिला market में. I had gone today to the market. I could not find milk. I could not find curd. I could not get fresh cream. I could not get, red and yellow bell pepper. I mean, there are a host of things that we can complain about. Yes, but is there something that you have and for which you should be grateful for? Yes, today I got 3 meals in a day. 3 good healthy meals, morning breakfast, afternoon lunch, and night dinner. And proper full meals, and in between also I had so many chatter mutter things. So we have so many things to be grateful for, in life. We have a family, we have our near and dear ones close to us. So let us find that one thing that we need to be grateful for. And this will actually provide respite in our crisis. When you find that one thing, when you're grateful for, you acknowledge it will boost your mood immediately. You'll feel that, wow, I have this, now tomorrow I have something else. So the feeling to be, feeling of being grateful for will keep on increasing when you start appreciating and acknowledging it. And last but not the least, be kind to yourself. Okay, please don't go around beating ke baba maine, itna sab ho gaya. Madam gave such a talk, and in spite of that I'm not able to cope with my stress. You keep beating yourself, you keep berating yourself. I'm such a bad person, I'm such a weak person. No, all of us are going through this. All of us are having a tough time. Be kind and compassionate to yourself. Learn to love yourself. It is very important. We need to learn to love ourselves. When we learn to love ourselves, we will be automatically be able to love others. Okay, so when we are kind to others, we will be kind to ourselves. We will be able to kind to others. Okay, so this I will end on this note. If anybody has any questions, I can take it, or in case you need to reach out to me, please, my numbers are mentioned here, so you can reach out. Any questions that they're proposing? नहीं है? Thank you very much. We shall end this discussion for the day. I hope you all enjoyed the talk. We shall meet soon. Thank you so much.
Anybody has any questions? now we will end the session. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining.